Hi there. I just wanted to make a quick video because someone made a comment on one of the videos and I just thought it was such a great comment that I really wanted to address it in a way. And so it talks about how that we are forgiveness again. It talks about how we can forgive others, sometimes a lot easier than we can forgive ourselves, especially when we've done things that are not okay. And I think for me, this is a really important thing, because I know personally I can forgive everyone everything, but me, well, that's a whole new ball game. And so I thought it'd be worth addressing it. I think forgiving yourself is somehow a lot harder. I think for example, when we talk about sometimes what we do to ourselves, and that's certain personality types, what we do to ourselves is far greater, far worse than what we would ever do to another. And I know in my own life, I would never, ever treat anyone the same way I treat myself. And so I do hold myself to a different standard. If you think about that, what's that about? That I hold myself to a much higher standard than I would everybody else. Everybody else is allowed to make mistakes, get it wrong, do the wrong thing, and but I can't, I won't. No, that's unforgivable in terms of what I've done. And that was the issue that I had to overcome, because that was the stumbling point. That was the thing that kept me stuck. That was the thing that stopped me from growing, moving, expanding, call it whatever you want, getting well, healing, because I would hold myself to a far greater standard than I would anybody else. And what is that about? What makes me so special that I cannot give myself a break in regards to what I would give a break to everybody else? So why am I so special? What makes me so special in regards to that? And I think that's another perspective on it, because it wasn't until someone challenged me, so what makes you so special that you can't forgive you, but you can forgive everybody else? And so I work with a lot of clients who have spent a lot of time beating themselves up. And when it boils down to it, the stumbling point for them to heal is the fact that they're holding that against themselves. And that could be something they did 10, 20, 30 years ago. That could be something that, it could happen recently. And for me, forgiving yourself is about realizing that you are worthy of the same treatment that you give everybody else. Because if you are seeing them as better than you and they deserve forgiveness, but no, you don't deserve forgiveness, what is that about? How can we uphold another and put ourselves down here? So they're superior, they deserve to be forgiven, but no, we're inferior. And I want to challenge that, because I realized that place of where I put myself down here, everybody else up here, they deserve, was a form of pride. It was a form of, oh, no. I should know better. I did the wrong thing, so I need to be punished for all eternity. It is a form of pride. And I think a lot of people don't realize that. And so once I understood, why do I think I'm so special? Because obviously I've set myself apart, haven't I? No, I'm not like everybody else. I'm too lowly to be forgiven. I'm just not good enough. And the thing is, if you have an inferiority complex, then you will flip into superiority. You cannot do one without the other. And this is why I always put everyone on pedestals. I was looking up to people, and invariably they'd be human and they'd fall off that pedestal I'd put them on, and then I'd judge them and I'd look down on them and go, oh, you know. And so it's about waking up to our part in it, what we bring, what the part we play. And this was so significant, and it's a part of the discussion that I probably haven't talked about, which I think that comment stimulated me to talk about, because it wasn't until I said, you know what, I'm just, put yourself on the same level as everybody else in terms of, ability to be forgiven. I'm worthy of being forgiven just like everybody else is. And the fact that I told myself I wasn't is a form of inverted pride. It's a form, and not everyone will agree with this, and that's okay, you don't have to. This is just what I realized as I went through this process of how what lovely I was in terms of, I'm so good, and the fact that I see the good in everyone, and I see, oh yeah, you made a mistake, then you need to forgive yourself. And then I wouldn't do it. What's that about? I wouldn't do, oh no, I can't forgive myself. I've committed the only unforgivable sin. So it's about realizing, I did the wrong thing. Yeah, I stuffed up. Yeah, I was out of line. I didn't act within my own personal value system, because hurting people hurt people. Now, that's no excuse for what I did. It's no excuse. I was terrified my children because I had a lot of rage, of trauma, of whatever, from wherever. It doesn't matter. And the thing is, I've healed it, so it's really hard for me to go back and really think about it. But I remember it. Obviously, I never forget it. And so so this is, and some of us, and me included, and it depends on your personality type, my main issue is anger. And so I was very angry with myself. Now, I couldn't move into forgiveness of self until I was able to process the anger with myself. And I think that's really important, that you don't just move in, and that's what the whole thing was about. So you don't just move into forgiveness of someone. You have to acknowledge the angry part of you, that's the disgusting part of you, that you could actually act that way. Now, this is about self, don't forget. And the way I did it was the way I work with anybody else. It's like acknowledging there's this angry part of me, and I'm really struggling to move into, I'm going to give myself a break and stop punishing myself for that. No, I've got to realize I am punishing myself for that. And how many clients have I worked with where I actually challenge them and I say, so how long are you going to punish yourself for? Like, give me a time. It sounds like you've been doing that for the last year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. So how long have we got to go? Have you've put yourself in prison? Even people that murder people get a sentence, or maybe not if it's murder, but you know what I'm saying. So if you did the wrong thing, you go to prison for a certain amount of time. Then you get out, you paid the dues for your crime, and you are now released. And so a lot of people feel like they haven't been sufficiently punished. So I'm going to punish myself enough, but it's never enough. And it's about a choice and a decision that you make to say, enough is enough. Enough is enough. I've paid the price. I've lost family, I've lost friends. Maybe, if you look back and look at how much you've actually lost, you get to a decision or a choice where you go, you know what, enough's enough. Because if I don't want to stay here, then something has to shift, and that something is you and the way you think, what you believe. So it's about changing your mind and realizing, if you have an understanding that I'm holding myself accountable for something I did then, that is not working for you, and that is not going to change anything. And so it's complicated, because I realize on some level, a lot of people think they've forgiven somebody. And, maybe intellectually they have. But let's talk about us. That's kind of, I realize that's another whole story. So, okay, you understand you did something wrong, and you've been beating yourself up and holding yourself to account for many years. You're angry with yourself. What do you do with that anger? So for me, this is what I had to do. So I'm going to share with you what I did. This is what I did. I put the part of me that did those things in the chair. And I told that part, but first of all, I got to see her. I really looked at her. I saw that wounded, hurt, angry part of me. And I felt the feelings I felt, because I felt rage towards her. I felt so much anger. You did this. You acted that way. You are an awful human being. You are unforgivable. Maybe I even thought that. So I put her in the chair and I told her exactly how I felt. I hated the fact that she did that. I hated the fact that she scared my kids. I hated the fact that she was so broken and wounded and vulnerable and pathetic. And I hated her. And I let her have it. I let her have it in no uncertain terms. In fact, I let the really rageful part of me step outside of me and do whatever it wanted to her. You see, I wanted to annihilate that part of me. I wanted to obliterate it, and I wanted to take it out. And I wasn't going to be done, because I have a huge sense of injustice. What she did was wrong. And she needed to pay. She needed to be told in no uncertain terms. But the thing is, I was going to do it once. You see, you can do that for years and years and years, but I'm going to give you one opportunity to do it once. So you do it 100% with your whole heart. You tell her what a piece of crap you think she is. Let that anger express itself in a way that's effective. Get in the other chair. I want you to sit in the other chair and speak to the part that just gave you a serve, beat you up, killed you. I don't know what it did to you. And I want you to speak back and say, you're absolutely right. I did the wrong thing. And I can't take it back. If I would, I could, but I can't. And what's done is done. And if you don't give up your right to stop punishing me, we're just going to stay stuck. We're just going to stay in this awful place that we're in. And I don't know about you, but I'm done. I think we've paid the price for long enough. I think we've been punished long enough. So I hear you, and I am sorry. If I could take it back, I would. And I'm so sorry. So you hear what you needed to hear. I don't know what you need to hear. That's what I needed. I needed to hear, yes, you have every right to be angry. Yes, you have every right to feel the way you do. And I'm really sorry. And if I could take it back, I would, but I can't. It's done. It's done. And if you keep punishing me, we're just going to keep going around the same cycle, making the same mistakes. And I don't know about you, I'm worn out. And life doesn't feel like it's worth living, sitting in this constant battle. Say whatever you need to hear. You get back in the other chair and you tell her, and this is what I want you to tell her. I realise I've been holding on to this resentment for a long time, and I realise it's not working for us, and I realise my part is that I've been holding on. I'm punishing you for what you did all those years ago or yesterday. And I'm done. I'm done punishing us for what we did. I'm done beating you up. So from this moment, I'm going to give up my right to punish you. Not because what you did was okay, because it wasn't. Not because I accept it, because there's a part of me that never will. I'm going to give up my right to punish you so I can be free, and so we can be at peace, and I can move on with my life and live life finally on my terms. So in other words, I'm going to forgive you. I'm going to forgive you, forgive you, forgive you. I'm going to give up my right to punish you. And just notice how you feel as you say these words. Now, this is a part of you. So we're not going to ask it to leave, but I want you to do, this is what I want you to do. I want you to imagine that part of you gets smaller and smaller. And you see that part of you shrink down until that part of you is just a very small child. Lonely, hurt, wounded, little child. I want you to see them with their little legs dangling over that chair. And I want you to see that part of you for what it really is, which is a very deeply wounded little boy or girl. And I want you to say once again, I forgive you, I'm here for you, and I love you, and I'm sorry too. And I want you to imagine, you close your eyes, I want you to imagine that that little boy or girl gets off her chair, runs up to you and puts his arms around you, cuddles up into you, and you put your arms around them. And I want you to hold that part of you, that small child that was so lonely and hurt and felt so scared. And I want you to hold it and say, it's okay. I've got you. I love you. I'm here for you. And everything's going to be okay. And you keep saying, I forgive you. I forgive you. I forgive you. And I love you. And everything's going to be okay. You're safe now. And it's over. You're safe now and it's over. And I want you to breathe in. Breathe in deeply. And with every deep breath, I want you to imagine that little boy or little girl move slowly back inside of you. Until the two of you become one once again. And I want you to breathe in. And just notice how you feel. Notice the sensations in your body. Notice anything. Could be anything. Could be feeling of sadness. Could be a heaviness. Could be a fluttering. Just breathe in. Be curious about what's happening inside the body. And just allow it to be exactly as it is. And just give yourself a few minutes. Maybe stop the video and just breathe this in. And be curious and allow and acknowledge and notice and watch and observe. And breathe in. When you turn it back on, I want you to just come out of the inside of the body. So what you do is you notice the floor beneath your feet, the chair beneath your body. You look around the room. You notice the sounds, what you're looking at. Come back into the room. You see, it's time. It is time. It is time on the planet to give up your right to punish that part of you anymore. It is time. It is done. You are ready. If you're watching this, then you're ready to hear this. So do what I've said. Experience it. Experience it. Embrace the feeling of anger you had towards yourself. Express it. Process it. Sit in the other side of the chair. Tell that part what you need to hear. And then move into forgiveness. And realize you've been holding on to this resentment for so long. And you're done holding on to it. I'm going to give up my right to do that. And see what happens. Allow your experiences to reveal to you this experience. Not my words, it's not me. It's about you stepping up and realizing what you're doing. And realizing that you're not helping anyone. You're not... If you want to help anyone, then do it. Because when you do it, you help all of us do it. And so it only takes you. You're a very important person. You're the most important person right here on this planet right now. And so do it for you. Do it for everybody. And I'm telling you, watch what happens. I don't know what's going to happen. What's the worst thing that can happen? Anyway, thank you for commenting, that person. You know who you are. And hopefully you see this. And it's given me an opportunity. And I'm really grateful. Because it's given me an opportunity to show you what worked for me. What works with my clients. I've done this with hundreds of people. And I'm going to say this because I think this matters. We live in a world. I just got an award for being best counsellor in a certain area. That is because some of my clients have left reviews. That's because they made a statement out, put it out there on Google and said, this person really helped me. And so don't take my word for it. Take the beautiful clients that actually left me good reviews and gave me that award. And so hopefully that helps you to be encouraged that this work. And I know it's not easy. It's probably going to be really difficult and it might be emotional. And, you know, if I could be there and do it with you, I would, but I can't. So listen to this, stop it when you need to, listen to it through, then stop it, and then go on to the next bit so you know exactly what to do. And see what happens, and share what happens in the comments if you do it. Tell us all what happened so you can share with the rest of us that maybe that was been helpful. Or maybe it wasn't. Share that too. I don't care. Say something, you know. Anyway, I've got to go. Take care. Bless you. See you soon. Bye.